The high-pitched screech of a dial-up modem was the entry point to the 1990s digital boom. But in a windowless room in California, rows of glowing CRT monitors were being used by people who didn't want to connect to the world. They wanted to leave it. A firm called Higher Source appeared to be a standard tech startup. They spent their days writing clean HTML and building corporate landing pages for a fee. Those programmers were actually members of Heaven's Gate, a Doomsday cult. They used their roles as early web designers to fund a group mission that had nothing to do with technology. They were cashing in on the birth of the World Wide Web to pay for their final exit from humanity. The movement began in the 1970s with Marshall Applewhite, a music professor suffering from depression, and Bonnie Nettles, a nurse interested in the occult. They abandoned their pasts and renamed themselves T and Do. Their theology combined science fiction with New Age mysticism. Followers were told to shed all earthly attachments, friends, family, and possessions, to physically board a UFO taking them to the next level. For 20 years, the group lived a nomadic existence. They stayed small and isolated, camping in the woods and relying entirely on the two leaders to interpret signs from the heavens. The prophecy broke in 1985 when Bonnie Nettles died of cancer. Her death left a physical body behind on Earth, which contradicted the group's belief that they would ascend to the stars alive. To maintain faith, Applewhite changed the doctrine. He taught the human body was merely a vehicle or a disposable container. The goal was no longer to take the body to space, but to abandon it so the soul could ascend to a higher level. In their Rancho Santa Fe mansion, life became a series of protocols. Members underwent surgical castration, wore identical clothing, and followed a strict schedule designed to suppress all individual human identity. This strict daily regimen effectively turned the cult into a collective machine, one that prioritized repetitive, highly disciplined tasks over any individual personal desire. It was a lifestyle that removed the distractions of the outside world entirely. Maintaining a mansion of that scale cost $7,000 a month. To pay the bills, the group began selling the highly technical computer skills they had developed in their isolation. Their workspace, Higher Source, functioned with monastic silence. Members sat in dark rooms for hours, writing code and designing graphics with a level of focus that few standard companies could match. They built web architecture for mainstream clients like the San Diego Polo Club. These customers had no idea that their websites were being constructed by a Doomsday group. They lived heavily regimented lives, operating in total isolation, presenting as an efficient tech startup. Their extreme discipline hid their beliefs behind a wall of corporate productivity. In 1996, the Hale-Bopp Comet appeared. Applewhite told his followers that Bonnie Nettles was trailing the comet in a spaceship, coming to retrieve their souls. Applewhite's mental health was failing. Fearing government intervention, he told the group to evacuate Earth immediately before the planet was spaded under and recycled. They treated their end like a business closing down. They finished their contracts, paid their debts, and updated the Heaven's Gate homepage with a flashing Red Alert banner. The group managed their final days with the exact same methodical approach they used for their web design contracts. They viewed their deaths as a project reaching its final deployment phase. In March 1997, 39 members committed suicide over 3 days. After ingesting phenobarbital and vodka, they pulled purple shrouds over their bodies. The scene was uniform: black tracksuits, matching Nike sneakers, and a $5 bill. Heaven's Gate remains a modern tragedy because of how they used 20th century tools. They utilized the World Wide Web, the engine of global connection, to fund and coordinate their permanent withdrawal from the human race.